Ladies and gentlemen, it is April the 25th, 2024 Central Standard Time. Mary Silver, of course, running for Congress in Seattle, Washington in the 1st Congressional District. She has ambushed the Flynn crowd, the Defense Intelligence Agency's psychological, Michael Aquino, the Presidio warfare program. And we've got some great footage for you. And you gave him a book and you give him a nudge and a wink in your pink berets. Tell me of your adventures. I will let you talk.
So we went and watched the Flynn movie, and it was very interesting.
Sorry,
It was
where was that?
definitely
Where was it? Tell me where you
uh,
were.
it was in Bow, Washington. So Dawn came with me, and we were handing out these flyers to everybody. And they were really well received. Actually, people were very interested in the upcoming cyber attacks. So
And now they'll know who it is.
Yeah, it was kind of disorganized. So we had VIP tickets and no one told us where Flynn would be. So we were kind of frustrated by that because we missed our first opportunity to have a picture with him. So we had to wait till the end to get in front of him. But I was able to give him Francis Stoner Saunders' book with my little message inside.
For people who don't know, Francis Stoner Saunders wrote a book
The Cultural Cold War.
Yeah, tell people about that book and who she is.
Oh, so you had it on your video, and it's all about how they spread propaganda through the arts and the media. And this was a perfect example, I felt, of how he was trying to convince an entire group of people. Unfortunately, he was, okay. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. And trying to convince an entire group of people how, he's the victim here. And the rest of us are supposed to feel sorry for him. And he completely omitted any role he had potentially in undermining the president on January 6th, whatever. So I was just taking notes.
Yeah, Francis Stoner Saunders told us that the CIA, a combination of the CIA and Wall Street, were funding books, movies, paintings, architecture, the women's feminist movement.
Right.
She mentions, I don't know if she mentions the Rockefeller Foundation, but she mentions the foundation system. You got to read between the lines. It's on C-SPAN. The link will be below. The link will be below to Francis Stoner Saunders, the Cultural Cold War, and Defense Intelligence Agency is, of course, a part of that. General Jim Jones, Shadowgate, Millie Weaver Gavin Wentz, our NATO French Masonic Lodge member, Patrick Bergy, and so on, exposed all this, and you won't see Flynn talking about it, but you were right there in front of him. How did he receive your beautifully signed book? What a great Defense Intelligence Agency little nudge and a wink you gave him with what you wrote in the book. What did you write?
Gosh, I wish I could have it pulled up. I said that I'm running to represent all of the National Guard whistleblowers, that they just spoke on the 17th, the intelligence community, and the men and women who defend our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah, and Charles Flynn, his brother, was right there, right at the top of the January the 6th, controlling and preventing patriotic Americans from restoring order because they didn't want order. And Flynn was told, Trump was told, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And there was Ali Akbar, Owen Schroyer, good old Alex Jones right at the head, and none of them went to jail for 3 years. Anyway, that's slowly getting booed. That's slowly getting booed.
Yeah. So anyways, we went through the line, and I was cordial, but I really maybe shouldn't have been, but I don't know. We were alone, so didn't want to be followed to my car.
You need to channel your inner Scorpio. You're just too Libran. You've got Pluto on the ascendant, but it's just not enough. You need a better.
Ah, come on.
You're saving the world, for crying out loud. Come on now.
Oh.
I know. It's I'm Ben. Hi.
I'm Mary Silva. I'm running for Congress.
Great. Good for you.
Yeah.
Here?
Yes. Try to get up there. Sure.
Yeah, this is me. And I brought you a present. This is a book. It's about the Cultural Cold War. I felt like everything you talked about was right there with what you said. Thank you. It was great to meet you. I want to keep you. I know you got a lot of people. Thank you.
So tell me about what you saw there with the, well, that's the joke. People think it's grandiose. It's not grandiose. No one will do it. So out of 400 million Americans, I think we got 5 people. But anyway, better than nothing. And I'm running it from my Mexican bunker, which is hilarious. Trust me, the movie's going to be fantastic. Nothing will have to be made up. Back to you and Dawn. Just tell me the vibe. Tell me what you saw. You're obviously well received. I did say I wasn't going to intercede, but I'm so panicking that they're going to do something. I want to get as much out as we can. But tell me.
Yeah, so
Well, just tell me, but in
ahead.
detail. Don't just flop it off. Tell me in detail what you saw, the mindset of the people. You were obviously well received on the cyber. It's getting out there. You're not attacked. No black helicopters have kidnapped you. You have not been kidnapped, anally probed, and taken to the moon base, correct?
Yeah, that's not happened.
Right. Your
I don't
computers work.
anticipate it will.
Your car tires haven't been slashed. Your windows haven't been smashed. But Americans are sitting there. Oh, I can't. I might. Who knows what might happen with bullshit? It's bullshit.
Well, we need more people to push this. I mean, really, we
You
really need
have
more
literally no
people.
help. You are literally by yourself when a dawn occasionally comes.
I mean, I feel like people are starting to see how they're starting to see and join me. So it is, but I'm just saying nationwide, we need more people doing this. And because we can't let it just be Washington State, we need everybody on all hands on deck doing everything they can.
Yeah, no party,
because I'm going to meetings every week now.
Yeah, and there's no
trying
party
to get this
politics.
out.
People need to get out of party politics. They need to just
Right,
support
right.
anyone who's normal on the so-called left, and anyone who's normal on the so-called right needs to be supported. This is beyond party politics.
It is beyond party politics. But it is. I mean, you have to remember too that whoever you agree with mostly, you want to get into their group so you can relate to them. But also, there's just a lot of propaganda happening on the Republican side. It's very concerning, and I want to show them, I guess, but I want to show them unity, with our core values. I mean, really, we need to come together on American values. American is the key. American over Republican or Democrat, whatever it is.
Which is
we make up those parties.
Which is the U.S. Constitution, freedom.
Exactly. So that's what I feel.
Unfortunately, it's a motherhood statement to most people because you haven't been free. You haven't offended someone, hurt someone's feelings at a political rally and been shoved in jail, beaten, broken, gone through a court system, seen the absolute corruption within the court system. Haven't forgotten about you, Curtis Olson, and your Mormon lawyer, the billionaire Curtis Olson, drug money launderer. This is why I'm so passionate. I'm an outsider and I'm so passionate because it could never have happened in the United States. The United States is so far from perfect, it's not funny. But to watch clowns in America, total effing clowns, worship Putin, the close friend of Heinz Kissinger, the biggest globalist ever, who's the literal lackey of Lord Jacob Rothschild, may they rest in hell, assuming they're dead, and Klaus fucking Schwab. And to watch this clown show push forward like this can only happen because of the Israeli backing to all of this stuff. So maybe America needs a dose of complete blackouts and chaos and misery and suffering before they go, freedom isn't free after all. It's not just a cliche. Unfortunately, you're so infiltrated. Now, please tell us about the feeling and what you saw at that Flynn and his fawning for sympathy.
Right.
Just to clarify to people, General Michael
Sure.
Flynn is a student of Kissinger and Associates and the City of London. He's not an Israeli asset or a Russian asset. He is an asset of the City of London and Wall Street and Kissinger and Associates. Get that in your head. And as Julianne Romanello from Tulsa, Oklahoma said to me, Brendan, we want to get you to the United States. The same people, millionaires who fund the Flynn, Clay Clark, Take Back America tour, want to get you to America. And then I said, why do they fund two obvious Defense Intelligence Agency plants of the highest order right back? And she said, none of them trust Flynn. And I said, then why the hell do they fund him? So with that in mind, tell us what you saw with the blind zombie masses. And you did meet some really good people there as well, but tell us what you saw.
So yeah, most of the people there were good-hearted Americans. I don't want to say gullible, but they were buying it. They weren't questioning. And stop it. It's not. It's just they need to be educated on the side that they don't know, that he won't share with them. Right? They're taking him at face value.
It's your job.
That's okay. That's my job. And so, I truly want those people to have their eyes opened to how they're being manipulated. And so yes, I understand that is going to be a big job, because my fear is that they're being led toward potential violence or during this next election, something terrible. That's what I'm feeling. What is that?
I'm trying not to be Alex Jones and jump in all the time. But if you want me to, don't leave an opening, because I will.
Well, well, Don and I were talking that, why else would he be, except to save his own skin, why else would he be going to such lengths, renting a huge bus? By the way, the food that we got was like a half a taco. He couldn't splurge for a little bit better. Who knows? Maybe they donated the food. Maybe everything's on donation. Yeah, but it was just like you pay $200 and what do you get? A picture with Flynn and like water and coffee, and it was just.
Well, maybe he's finding it hard. Maybe he's finding it hard to get funding these days. Flynn is so transparent. Maybe. And I remember seeing Clay Clark saying, when Alex comes out, people were booing. So clearly people are waking up to Flynn.
Yeah. I think a lot of people there too, a lot of people in the audience were skeptics. They were skeptics. They were there to check out what's going on. And they weren't just taking it at face value. But I hate to say it, there were a lot of veterans. I really wanted to it makes me sick. It makes me sick.
That's your number one. That's your number one. Remember, they're all connected. Social network connected with other veterans serving and retired. That's your gold standard, the veterans.
Yeah. Anyways, so I really want them to open their eyes to this.
Now, you found the video kind of boring and self-serving. Is that correct? Or were they the words?
Yeah, well, I knew his story very well, and I followed it from early on, everything that was happening to him. But it conveniently ends around, before January 6th. And I was like, they didn't talk about that stuff. So that was interesting.
Yeah, someone might mention Mike Gill. Mike Gill would be interesting to mention as well. Hey, just on that point, some people who, multiple Green Berets, maybe they're friends of Joe Kent and Semi Bird, said they had worked with Flynn, counterinsurgency stuff, and they said they called him a genius. Number one, he was groomed through that program. Everyone despised him and hated him. He was it wasn't an Obama thing. He was hated by everyone. So he was groomed by the Israelis connection, which is tied in with Russia and, of course, Kissinger, City of London. So he's groomed into that program. And you know what his genius is, both Afghanistan and Iraq? His genius was, let's remove all the controls which stop things getting out of hand and double and triple checking. What we'll do is if someone says their next door neighbor is working for ISIS, just go in, kick in the door, beat the shit out of them, put a gun to their kid's head and get the information out of them. So he managed to turn large segments of populations who were already turning into radical anti-American ISIS people. That's what he managed to do. And then they claimed he was a fucking genius for kicking people. So some guy said, oh, the guy down the road, I'm terrified. I got a gun up my head. My kids are screaming. My wife's hysterical. The guy down the road. And off they would go, no checks, no nothing, because time is of theirs, and we'll kick in that door. And they said he's a genius. He's not a genius. Who does he work for? Israel Netanyahu Likud, City of London. Because what did it do? It turned the entire Muslim world, just added another layer of hatred to Americans across the world. And did it help? The big answer is no. Because what does General Michael Flynn say of Defense Intelligence Agency? This is the Defense, quote, all caps, bold and underlined, intelligence agency. And he says the greatest threat to the world is radical Islam. Radical Islam. That's okay. I'm still recording. I can see you. Radical Islam is the greatest threat to the world ever. So that's what Flynn is. So maybe you will receive Flynn in your bishop's hat and he can come kneel before you and beg forgiveness. As he lies prostrate before you, and when you say stand, keep him kneeling and he can ask for repentance. Michael Flynn better understand, he will see this. He will see this. That if he doesn't pull his head in and come and shake your hand and say how he's learnt the truth, he will not only go down in history as one of the great traitors to the United States, he can turn it around. He's still got time to turn it around. If he doesn't, then he's not only going to be remembered as a traitor, he will be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his day. I'm not threatening. I'm just telling, when people find out what he's done, he's going to have to get on a plane and fly to Israel, and he might not even be welcome there with 2 Marine divisions there, or fly to Russia. Maybe he'll have to fly to Russia. I'm waiting for that. Anyway, back to you. So you watched the video, you met some people, you handed out flyers. Tell me more.
Well, no, I mean, we just watched the movie. There was a wall of the timeline of events as Michael Flynn lived them, or felt he lived them, and it was from my perspective, propaganda. I mean, obviously there were true parts to it. We all watched it play out, but when he starts bringing up his attorneys, Powell, and talking about her like she was, something
Sidney
great
Powell.
to help
Sidney
them
Powell.
out. I mean, yeah.
The thief in Florida, building her mansion, her homestead in Florida, so
Right.
she can't have all the millions. She's stolen millions. What is wrong? See, this is where Flynn is. He can't be rehabilitated. He's going to have to be captured, tied up, and taken to court as a traitor. There's no. I'm speaking now, not you. I'm speaking. What
Yeah.
else is there? I'm trying to provoke people. Treason doth never prosper. Why? For it to prosper, none dare call it treason. He is a traitor. I'm not being emotional. I am watching traitors wander around with their ass hanging in the air with their peacock feathers, lecturing Americans in full fucking view. Full view. Sidney Powell, stop setting me off. Stop it. Sidney
Sorry.
Powell.
You told me to tell you.
I didn't know Sidney Powell was there. I'm just going to take me
No,
a
she wasn't
week.
there.
Oh, well, whatever. He mentioned her.
They were promoting her. Yeah, they were promoting her as being a great person. And it's in the movie too. You don't want to watch the movie if you don't want to be triggered. You just don't. But where I really felt like where he got the audience was his son, and the depression his son went through. And I really did feel for his son. I did feel for him. I'm sorry. Like, Brendan, he can't help who his dad is.
Poor little baby. Aww.
I did feel bad for his son.
Fuck his son. Fuck him.
Stop it. But so anyways.
Gunny needs to get you in training camp and harden that heart. That's what needs to happen. Get the fuck off of my obstacle. That's what needs to happen. Listen, on that point, Sidney Powell, if anyone bothered to read, I was talking to a San Diego paralegal, 20 plus years. They're more knowledgeable than the damn lawyers. All right.
Yeah.
She said, have you
Hmm.
read the Sidney Powell thing? I said, no, I haven't. She said, Brennan, if I produced that, I would be instantly fired from my job. It's ludicrous. She's literally saying that a sworn affidavit from a Venezuelan commando who was president at the presidential palace saw a guy who walked the dog, who was a friend of his cousin's brother, Pablo, that they were discussing the Chinese Communist Party in the Venezuela and the voting machines. And it's like, this is a joke. That's a
Hmm.
joke. That's gaslighting. Don't people understand this? She wrote a
Yeah.
joke. Her and Kissinger wrote it and were just sitting there giggling themselves stupid that anyone will believe that shit. It was shit. Please carry on. I said I wouldn't interrupt, but you know that's impossible.
As no, you're entertaining.
That's what the Australian Federal Police
So
said. Extremely entertaining quote.
Yeah. You have a way with words. Well, I don't know where I was. I don't. But and here's the other.
They were
Here's
all
another
crying. They
interesting
were all
thing.
crying. It's all very sad. You said they were all crying, shedding tears about how
Well,
hard they've had it.
yeah, yeah, I know, and it's kind of like you dug your own grave there because in part, and you drug your family into it too, and that's what makes me kind of mad. Also, I'm sure I do feel for his son. I'm sorry, he got drugged through some stuff.
I'd like to feel for his son. I'd like to
Maybe
break
I'm
his
wrong.
jaw. I'd like to break his jaw. I'm sorry. Anyway, carry on. I just want to more round it up on the list, Laventia Bearer style. But anyway, carry on.
On the list. Okay. There was something else I wanted to say, but now I'm forgetting what it was. Oh, he did have one of his, if I can remember his name, Don might be able to, we might be able to put it in the comments because I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but he was there helping to explain the wall. I'll send you video about it and we'll get his name.
For those that don't know my background, my parents fled the Soviet Union in the 70s. I was born in 76, bicentennial baby. In 76, so they came here in 74. And they were able to flee the Soviet Union. And the reason why they fled was exactly the same reason that General Flynn and his family went through pretty much. Where the government targeted you for speaking truth to power.
But he explained later that he was the son of Russian immigrants who,
Who was that?
yeah, exactly. I can't remember his name. He was in the army and he said he called up Flynn and he said he would be on his team after Flynn started going through the hell with the courts.
Really? Well, that's
But I
important.
found
That's
that to be
important.
interesting.
Not that there
It is
weren't
important. I
not
just
not
faced
that
it.
there weren't many sincere Russians who got the hell out, but amongst them,
Of course.
just like in Israel, what is it?
Right.
There was 80% of those people that came out were totally sincere and were kissing the ground. I used to know the Russian
Right.
Orthodox Church outside Russia, the Rokor, and I met those people and they
Sure.
warned, Brendan, you have communism in your country, but you don't have the bread lines. They said you don't see it because you don't have the bread lines. And the
Yeah.
old bambushkas, they were like in their 70s and 80s and really sincere,
Yeah.
going, oh, thank God. And they warned me about Putin. So all the old guard know
Right.
what Putin is, except the new young
Right.
generation and dumb Americans. However, that is really important. We got to get that guy's name. Hopefully, we'll edit it in later.
I'll get it for you. It won't be hard. I just can't think of it at the moment. So he and Flynn's son were explaining the wall. So I got some video of that I'll share with you later. And I think that was pretty much the vibe there. They were selling books on 5th gen warfare and the coming AI problem. So they were selling a lot of stuff.
That's his book. That 5th gen stuff is just vacuous garbage. Tell us about Michael Aquino in the Presidio and the Church of Satan and Aleister Crowley, like
Right.
good old, what's his name? Putin's brain. God, I've forgotten his name. Alexander Dugin, the Crowleyites. It
Dugin,
goes,
yeah.
it goes deep, man. The old British MI6.
It's so messed up.
City of London, you can trace it all. This is the penetration. And Flynn did that Theosophical Society prayer. When I first heard about it, I went,
Sevenfold rays.
when I first heard it, I went, the little dicks who've read Codexa Magica by the great Tex Mars, King James Bible or bust, have seen a hand sign, and I laughed, and then I went and watched it, word for word, the Theosophical Society prayer. I couldn't believe it.
We are your instrument of those sevenfold rays and all your archangels, all of them.
I am here, O God, and I am the instrument of those sevenfold rays and archangels.
We will not retreat. We will not retreat. We will stand our ground.
And I will not retreat. I will take my stand.
We will not fear to speak. We will be the instrument of your will, whatever it is.
I will not fear to speak, and I will be the instrument of God's will, whatever it is.
In your name, and the name of your legions.
Here I am, so help me God, in the name of Archangel Michael and his legions.
We are freeborn, and we shall remain freeborn.
I am freeborn, and I shall remain freeborn.
And we shall not be enslaved by any foe, within or without.
And I shall not be enslaved by any foe within or without.
If you want black and white proof, he's an Aleister Crowley, and I'm going to say it, Church of Satan. I'm going to say it, Church of Satan. Presidio, Colonel Michael Aquino. There's your proof. That was the final straw for me. I went, that guy is fucking evil. He is a fucking... Anyway, carry on. Doesn't it tie in with Alex Jones and Roger Stone? Yeah. Roger Stone, Alex Jones, sexcapades, tied in with General Jim Jones, Denology, NATO, Robert David Steele, psych warfare operations. Hello, it's a viper's nest. Look at them.
It's obscene how many there are. It's actually overwhelming when you think about it.
I told you, it's a complete parasitic white anting. It's gonna take. They're gonna have to drag them out by the hair and the wigs. They're orthodox, the ultra orthodox women wigs. What's her name? She's like how high up in the NSA? Have they got rid of her yet? Everyone complained she was a raving loon. I don't
think she's still there.
There should be no Hasidim. There shouldn't be any Hasidim in America. End of story. Do you allow Nazis to come to America? Why are you allowing Hasidim?
You don't allow the Westboro Church, he said.
Would you allow the Westboro Baptist Church are tame compared to these lunatics? Would you allow the Westboro Baptist Church into the NSA? Oh, we must be cautious. Please be cautious. We wouldn't want to incite. Precious, precious. Oh, so precious.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is impromptu. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is impromptu. This was a very fast, organized interview. I'm still waking
really
up.
Organized. Sorry. Yeah. So, I mean, it was, I don't know. I felt the people there were sincere, and I really feel like a pit in my stomach about how they're continually being just lied to. And the drawing in with truth in order to drop gaslighting pisses me off. I'm sorry. I'm just so sick of it. I just really want us to come together and understand what the hell we're dealing with here.
Didn't you say you had a new Jewish Batman and Robin and the Jewish hippie or something?
Yes, she will remain nameless, but she's very sweet and very supportive, and so yeah, I will hopefully be meeting her more and more and getting to know her better. So she's very, very good. She said she will support me at the meetings if anybody tries to call me an anti-Semite.
Just laugh and say, I have nothing against Arabs. I'm deeply offended by your statement. Arabs are wonderful people, particularly, And say, but again, this is the
un-American stuff.
Yeah, just tell them that, look, if you want to get past the evangelical anti-Semite shit, it's very easy. You just say, I've been praying for Israel. Look at these knees. Show your bruised knees. You've been on your knees praying for Israel night and day for weeks. Then you simply say you've got a bunch of non-Jewish Russian GRU, KGB sleeper assets penetrating, just like they penetrated the United States. Say you love Diana West. and she'll tell you every 5 minutes she hates Islam, but she's bang on. She's done the best work. I think you should contact her. She's done the best work on that deep history of the old Silver Master spy rings post 1917 Bolsheviks. They didn't just go from New York to Moscow. They went from Moscow to Tel Aviv and Moscow back to the United States and the old German Frankfurt School. So she's done great work on that. So it'd be great if you could contact her so we can get that deep history. But just tell them you're worried about Russian GRU penetration of Israel and into your high-tech sector, and then ask them, so you're a traitor? You call me an anti-Semite, I'll call you a traitor. You got to be aggressive. You go on the front foot, you don't go on the back foot.
Right.
Tell them traitors traitors includes execution, all the way up to execution. Tell them.
Yeah, that will go over well.
The point is, you're not there to be nice. You're there to stir the pot. You're a disruptor.
Yeah, I know. I'm also feeling like I want to get people on my side, and I
They
feel
will.
that going to get.
They will. The truth will set you free and them free, and they will come. They will come.
Right.
Build it. Just be you. Be natural. Be truthful. They will come. Look at my audience. It is small, but man, is it high quality. I mean, I don't tell people half the people that contact me. You would be, mechanics for high-end machinery, former welders, and talk about the welding techniques. I mean, just stuff you wouldn't believe, all pushing this stuff slowly behind the scenes. We'll get Boeing engineers. There's going to be all sorts of people, and there's a huge awakening, but it needs to be reinforced. What I would hate, Mary, is if people think it's all under control. Oh, yes, they're probably on the phone to the Pentagon. No, you're sitting out there by yourself. I'm sitting here going insane in my little fucking bunker. I don't go outside anymore before I'm assaulted by an 82-year-old local Sephardic. Just people need to understand that if you don't start just downloading the flyers, which are already present, and just start handing them, I'll take anywhere. Preferably go to a political rally where people are in a political mood. They know about critical infrastructure. Now, the Lee's done some great flyers you can use, and it's easy. Don't worry if you get abused. Just look at them and say, why don't you click on the QR codes? Oh, I'm not sure about that, but why don't you click on the QR codes? If you change one person out of 100, you hand out 100 flyers and one person gets it, you have now penetrated past the wall, the Berlin fucking wall of the internet ghetto. You have penetrated. Now you're in a new market. Now it's like a virus. It will spread rapidly throughout that new market. I beg you, please understand social networking science. This is why they must keep you online. They must pay us to stay online and build little studios and cheap Chinese lights and tell everyone how horrible it all is. All right, this was impromptu. You've got to get back to work. We shall hang up and we'll edit it in the footage you will send me and say hi to Robin, aka Dawn.
Okay.
Oh, and Lee's got his new video coming out. It's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, and you can integrate that QR code. I think he might do up his flyers again, and we'll have a new version of the flyers because that 10-minute video is really, really good. So it's a great primer. So before anything else, we'll have that big QR code to Lee's video.
Awesome.
Okay, ciao for now. Hold on, first jump a leggy, jump an Andy. Bye-bye. And cut.
Bye.
All right. There you go.